Hello, especially Rashmi, and I hope that Sawa can find us. Yes, sorry, the video stopped and then you have to start a whole new one. So hopefully everyone is here and can find this video. Rashmi, I think you're here. Sawa, please say hello if you find me. But today's video is all about passive voice. So this is day 5 because of course yesterday I unfortunately couldn't do the video. So passive voice, and this was a request. But before we start, let's have a look from at the homework that you did on paraphrasing from the other day. So let's have a look, and I think, Rashmi, I've got your answer in here. Okay, so the homework was to paraphrase this paragraph, and Rashmi, you did a great job. I would say you also summarized, and hi Pedro, I would say you also summarized this paragraph, which it depends on what you wanted to do when you said paraphrase. If you want to include all the information from the original paragraph, then you definitely missed a few things. But if the idea was just to take what you thought was important for your own writing, then it's fine. It's a good job. I will give you a couple of tips though. So I'm just a bit sad that we lost a few people because we had to start the video again. So I really hope they can find us. Okay, we've got a few people watching now, so that's good. All right, so this is Rashmi's answer, and it's great. A couple of points. Let me just grab a pen. We'll go this color. Okay, so see how you've got the ing, here, the ing here. That's great because we're starting a sentence with the subject. So in this case, a gerund, which means you also have to put it here. Hope you can see this. Might be a little bit small. Let me go a bit bigger. All right. So sanitizing and washing hands. So that's a great way to start. And I like how you, using an alcohol-based rub. So you changed that to sanitizing, which essentially means the same thing. So great. The other point, and it's very small, but you use the word avoid. And in this one, somewhere, I think, here, they use prevent, and the meaning is almost the same, but not quite. So in your sentence, prevent would be better because we want to stop or stop from happening something. Avoid means that you might avoid getting the disease. So it means you go around the disease. It's difficult to explain because they're very similar. But let's say that this is you. And then this is the disease and it's coming at you. Okay, which is a different color. If you avoid it, you might go over here. And then the disease keeps coming and it misses you because you're here. Yeah? So you might avoid it by wearing a mask or staying at home. But in this case, avoid and slow down the spread of the disease. We want to stop it. And the word for stopping it, or stopping it from spreading, is prevent. So I hope that makes sense. But yep, you've summarized and paraphrased the information very well. I guess you have focused more on this second part of the original. If that was your plan, your intention, then very good. Okay, so we've got a few. Mohammed, hello. Okay. Any questions, Rashmi, before we start with today's lesson? Please go ahead and ask a question. I'll just pop up these questions for everybody to answer. And if you have got a question, you can ask me now. So today's lesson is about the passive voice. And this was also a request from a student. So if there is something that you would like me to teach, then please let me know. Oh, Rashmi wants my answer. Rashmi, do you want a summary or like you did, or do you want all the information? So who would like to answer these questions? What is the opposite of passive voice? When or why do we use passive voice? And is it used in formal or informal English? Rashmi, all the information. Yes. Let's do it at the end of this lesson, if that's okay, so that I can teach passive for the people that want to learn about passive, and then I can do that for you at the end. Ah, Nafise. Good. Let's say active. Very good. Anyone want to answer number 2? It's more than one correct answer. And number 3, maybe they are more difficult. Don't forget to share this video. Maybe you also have friends that would like to learn English. They are also at home because we can't go anywhere. There's a bit of a delay, so I'll give you a minute. Maybe you're shy. Come on, Nafise. Second question. I think maybe because the act is more important for us in comparison to someone who did it. Very good. Yes. So we'll say the person who did it, and we can call them the agent, is not the most important part of the sentence. And if you're not sure, don't worry, I will explain this better soon. Or we don't know who did it. Great. The third one, trick question, because we actually use it for both. But good try, Nafisi. I was tricking you. So, most people think that we use it in formal, and it is definitely used in newspapers and on the news, on television, but it's also used in technical writing, which is definitely formal, but we also use it in our everyday, and there's lots of expressions that you will know that we use every day, and they are passive. So we will look at some of them. Okay, let's go. Our first sentence. So this is active. Okay, it's an active sentence. We know who is doing the action. So, go to that. All right, so James. Let me bring this up here. James is this guy here. So in an active sentence, we have the subject at the start of the sentence, and the subject is the one that does the action. In this case, the action is stealing, and then the object is my car. Okay, so this is a basic English sentence, which is in active. Now let's look at this one. You're welcome, Nafisi. In this example, and of course this is not formal, what's important is my car, and it was stolen because this is passive, and we don't know by who. We don't know who. You can say by someone. We could say by James, yeah? But if we don't know who did it, then we don't need to include this part. So in this case, we will leave it out because we don't know who did the action. So we're focusing on my car, which is gone, and that it was stolen. Okay? So these are similar sentences, but this one is active. We know who did it, and this one is passive. Let's look at another sentence. The real estate agent sold the house. Okay. In this example, yeah, Nafise. So in this one, the object is more important because it's not there. There's no car. It's more important than the subject. And that's similar in this one because, sorry, pop-ups. Because in this example, this is the real estate agent, yeah? Real estate agents sell houses. That's what they do. So it's too obvious to say who sold the house. Because it's very obvious, what's more important is... sorry. What's more important is the house, yeah? So the real estate agent sold the house is active, but we want to focus on the house. So how do we make this passive? Please go ahead and write your passive sentence if you know how to make it. And hi, Saeed. desadek. Sorry, my pronunciation is terrible. Anyone know how to make this sentence? Right. Very good, Nafise. The house was sold. And we could say by the real estate agent, but we don't need to because they are the people that sell houses. Okay, another example. This time I want you to try to write the sentence if you already know how to make passive. So we've got J.K. Rowling and we've got the book Harry Potter. Can anyone write this sentence? This is a really common example of when we use passive voice in everyday language. So it doesn't need to be very formal. Hi, Carrie. Not sure. How much of a delay? Okay, maybe you're shy. Harry Potter was written by J.K. Rowling. Oh my gosh. Oh, I know why. Okay, Harry Potter was written by J.K. Rowling. So, in this case, the book is the most important thing. So we use passive voice. If we go back in this example, we don't know who, so we use passive voice. And in this example and this example, the book or the house is the most important thing. But the question that most students want help with is how do you form the passive? So looking quickly at our examples, my car was stolen, the house was sold, Harry Potter was written. We can see that they all have the verb to be. In this case, it's in the past. And then they all have verb 3 or the past participle. Okay, so when you see a sentence with to be and the past participle or verb 3, it's probably passive. Okay, so here are the steps to making a passive sentence or changing an active sentence into the passive. It seems like a lot of steps, but they're very easy. So let's try, and I've made this sentence active. J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter. So we have our first step, circle the subject, the verb, and the object. So you need to know which is which before you start anything. So we've got subject, verb, object. Okay. Step number 2. Move the object to the start to be the new subject. So all we do is we take this and we move it to the start of our new sentence. So I might actually type this. Bigger. Alright, so we've moved the object to the start of our sentence. Number 3, look at the active sentence. What tense is it? So if we look here, we've got wrote. So we've got write, wrote, written. This is in simple past. Okay. Number 4, add the verb to be to match the active tense and the new subject. Okay, so the active tense is simple past. So the verb to be in simple past is was or were. So it also says to match the new subject, which is Harry Potter. So with Harry Potter, we use was. Was. Add the verb in the past participle form. So the verb was wrote, and the past participle of wrote is written. And then finally, do you need to include the subject? Harry Potter was written. In this case, we do want to include the subject because J.K. Rowling is important to this sentence. But remember, it's not always. So, for this sentence, by J.K. Rowling. And it seems like a lot of steps, but if you follow them through carefully, then for every active sentence, you will be able to change it to the passive. So I have a few for you to practice. Alright, so got a few people watching. So can you change these 4 sentences from active to passive? So hi Not if you're still here, and Asad and Kishore. Is anyone brave? Can you change these to passive? Good. Okay, the first one. Good job, Rashmi. So in this case, it depends on the context. If you know the child broke the toy, you would say the toy was broken by the child. Maybe you don't know who broke it, so you could just say the toy was broken. Don't forget, if there's something that you want me to teach in the next class, you just have to let me know. Well done, Carrie. The fire was started. Rush me too. Sorry, you got that one. Two more. So the next one, they have built the house, is present perfect. Nobody knows? Okay. Oh, good. Maria. Good try. Okay. So, what we need to make sure is... Yeah. Step number 3. So, in this sentence, it's present perfect. So... the house has been built. And then by them, if you want. Whoa. Good. Okay. But of course, in this sentence, probably the most important thing is the house, not them, because we're not being specific. So the house has been built. The last one is future. Might be a bit tricky. Good job, Carrie. The new law will be passed. Well done. So, if this lesson was difficult for you, please let me know. If it was easy for you, please let me know. And if there's anything else you would like me to teach, just write it in the comments. Good, Rashmi, you also got it correct. Okay. So your homework for today is to write 3 sentences in the passive voice about the COVID-19 global pandemic. Can you write 3 sentences in the passive? And what I will do is this link, and I'll put it in the comments as well. Number 1, institute.com language lessons Karuna challenge. You can write your homework there, or you can send it to me, and then I can have a look ready for tomorrow's lesson. So this page on this website, and it should come through in the comments, has all the videos from every day of the challenge. Hi Privado, early good morning to you. Okay, so any questions about passive, please ask me now. But what Rashmi wanted to do was for me to do another example of paraphrasing. So we'll go back to the beginning. So well done, Rashmi. Really good job with this paraphrasing example. So I might just get a new slides. I'll get rid of all this stuff. My drawings. Okay, so Rashmi asked me to write to paraphrase this how I would do it. So if you're interested, keep watching. So first step for paraphrasing is to read it maybe a few times to make sure that you can understand it. And then the idea is that we hide it. So I guess the first sentence, trying to slow down, is to be well informed. So to understand, so to be well informed means that you understand the virus, and that includes what causes it and spreads it. Okay, so these are just my notes so that you can see what I'm thinking. And then it gives an instruction: protect yourself and others from infection by washing your hands, using alcohol-based rub frequently, and not touching your face. So hand hygiene and touching your face. Okay, so these are the 2 key points if we want to prevent and slow down transmission. So I'm going to delete this, and this is important because if you have the writing there, it's very easy just to copy it. Okay, so we'll write our paraphrasing, and then we will go back and see what the difference is. Okay. And in order to stop the spread of COVID-19, remember we can of course copy the names of things. People must fully understand the virus understand how the virus spreads and how you can catch it. So that's one way of saying the same thing as they had in there. Another way would be to say information. This is quite different, but it has the same effect as the original one. So I might do one or two different sentences and then maybe combine them. So I don't just write it once and it's perfect. You practice a few different ways of saying it. Okay, I think I might go with the first one. So stop maybe, or slow maybe. Slow the spread. People must fully understand how. So we don't need the virus. How it, because we've already said COVID-19, and how you can catch it. Okay. The most effective strategy is to wash, avoid catching it. So we're not stopping it, we are avoiding it. So Rashmi, remember I explained the difference between prevent and avoid. First strategy to avoid catching it is to wash your hands regularly and refrain from touching your face. So refrain is a synonym of avoid, and you don't want to use the same word too many times, so I used a synonym. And that's a good time, you can use a thesaurus or dictionary, but try not to use a word that you don't know, that you've never heard of, because you might not get it quite right. Okay. In order to slow the spread of COVID-19, people must fully understand how it spreads and how you can catch it. The most effective strategy to avoid catching it is to wash your hands regularly and refrain from touching your face. So, let's have a look again. Is it very different? No. This is the same, but touching your face and touching your face is the same. But you can't really say that a different way without sounding strange. Okay? So remember, we're trying to be as clear and simple as possible. So I hope that helps you, Rashmi, but again, yours was good, yours was fine. It just didn't have, about being well informed. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so we'll go back to your homework. So you can go over to this website if you want to see the other lessons and also to see the homework. I will put it up right now. And that's, of course, not everything. It's an introduction to passive voice. You also need to learn how to make questions in the passive, negatives, and how to use modal verbs in the passive voice. So I think just the basic understanding of passive is enough for today. I hope it was really useful and that you will join me again tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. I will start a watch party now, so if you have any questions, you are free to ask me there. Yeah, so thanks very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.